I'm gonna edit the video so that way when you pop your feet, the entire like section around Wurmwood will just be green.
That'd be pretty cool.
I know, like the screen will just be green. They won't be able to see the models. It's just going to be a big green circle over a chunk of the screen. Because like, I'm not good enough at editing to actually make it look good.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another Brawlmachine battle report. This week we have Cassius and Wurmwood going up against Makeda, so some circle versus Skorne here. And yeah, it should be an interesting one. We've got a really infantry-focused, actually they're both infantry-focused lists now that I'm thinking about it. There's a lot of symmetry between the lists today, which is kind of cool to see. So anyways, without further ado, we're going to get on into the battle, and I hope you guys enjoy.
So for this battle report, I chose to bring Wurmwood. He's a very fun caster. He's got a good spell list with Curse of Shadows, so he can give -2 armor to a unit and make it so they cannot make free strikes, and models can advance through them, which is also very useful. He's got Dark Path. This is to teleport him to Cassius. You notice in the list, Cassius is attached to him. So Cassius acts as an arc node, and this allows Wurmwood to actually move because he's speed 0. So you can teleport to Cassius, and Cassius can teleport back to him. He's got Hellmouth, which is just great against infantry. And it can also be a threat extender. It pushes models within 3 of the model hit directly towards it. Then you push a 3-inch AoE that does POW 12 to all of them. He's got Rapid Growth, which places down a forest, which is very useful for keeping him safe since he's only defense 5. So he's hit by everything, pretty much. So that's just a good way to keep him safe. Then he's got Stranglehold, which is really good for controlling the heavies. Since a model damaged by Stranglehold forfeits either its normal movement or its combat action during its next activation. Then for his feat, so he makes everything within his command range a forest, and enemy models that become knocked down within it suffer 1 damage. So just a very good control feat. I chose to bring a Feral. He's just really good at killing heavies. He's pretty flexible because he can swap between giving himself warping armor, speed, or strength. He's got the Primal Animus, just good for buffing mat and strength. And then I brought the Stalker, who's pretty good at killing infantry as well as heavies. He can hit really hard. He goes up to just base PS 20 if he warp strength. Other than that, he can warp Prowl, which is useful with Wurmwood being able to put a forest up, so he can give himself stealth, basically. And then he can warp Berserk, which helps kill infantry. On top of that, he's got the Lightning Strike Animus, so he can sprint away once he's done. I then brought Lord of the Feast. He's a source of grievous wounds. He's got Thresher, and he can teleport using this range 8 Raven. So he duels attack that, then he teleports and he Threshers and does a bunch of damage. I brought Lanyssa Ryssyl as a threat extension with Hunter's Mark. So my charges can become free, and I get +2 movement against the model hit by Hunter's Mark. I then brought a full unit of Tharn Ravagers. So they're pretty nice with Wurmwood. Since they got Tree Walker and he likes putting up forests, it gives them +2 defense against melee attacks while they're within a forest. Forests also give them concealment, and they've got pretty good defense for medium bases with defense 13, so it can be defense 15 against ranged. Other than that, they got Heart Eater, so they can use corpse tokens to buy or boost attacks. And they got Brutal Charge, so they hit PS 15 out of charges, which is also really good. Their attachment that I brought, the Tharn Ravager Chieftain, his main thing that he gives them is Mass Carnage, which is this mini feat that gives them all Overtake, which just allows them to absolutely shred through infantry, because whenever they get a kill, they can get the Heart Corpse token, and then they can move up 1 and make another attack, and they can just absolutely chew through infantry with that.
So for my list today, I decided to bring Archdomina Makeda. That is Makeda 1. Makeda 1's a lot of fun. She doesn't have too much going for her on the front of her card other than Shield Guard here. Field Marshal Shield Guard's just kind of handy to have. But otherwise, she's got some abilities that make it seem like she wants to melee, but she really doesn't want to melee. What she's really good for, or why I like her, is her spell list and her feat. So her spell list, she's got some of my favorite types of spells to have, aside from like quick style debuffs. She's got attack roll buffs. She's got defense buffs, and she's got speed buffs. She's got 2 speed buffs, one in the form of Quicken, one in the form of Lash. Lash being a little bit more of an edge case sort of speed buff. But just having access to potentially 4 inches of speed buffs just on the first card, plus things like Jackhammer, gives you a lot of versatility on especially since Skorne has some slower moving war beasts. Combine that with Jackhammer, which is just a super versatile spell that can be used for a lot of things, and then Carnage, which is great because a lot of the war beasts in Skorne, or just in the game in general, honestly, are kind of in that mid-tier mat, so being able to boost them up is pretty good. Her feat's also really cool. It gives all friendly living models Retaliatory Strike, and she can sustain things by suffering damage herself, which is really, really cool and can lead to a lot of fun interactions. So she's a really fun caster to play. Going forward, I brought Molik Karn and a Gladiator for my list here. So with Molik Karn, he's just an absolute powerhouse. He's got 2 POW 14 Weapon Masters. With the Bond, he's got Sidestep. His Animus gives him Repo, and Future Sight's a fantastic ability just at base, and then Intuition, which actually kind of comes up with him because Defense 13 isn't too bad for a War Beast there. So yeah, overall just really fantastic model. Same for the Titan Gladiator. He's got fantastic baseline stats to begin with. I mean, they're nothing too crazy or anything like that, but they're kind of what you'd expect from a heavy. He doesn't cost too many points, and then the main reason why I bring him in almost every list is Rush, because speed buffs, that's really all you need to say. Moving on from the War Beasts, I brought the Mortitheurge Willbreaker. In this list, he really doesn't do too much other than sit on a flag and throw out Influence or Puppet Master, because I already kind of have access to Tough, but Influence and Puppet Master are also just super useful abilities, so there's something that he provides to the list. Next, I brought the Extoller Soulward. This is probably one of my favorite solos in the game. Spirit Eye is just a really stupid gun that can do some crazy stuff. It ignores a bunch of stuff when it's making attack rolls, which, you know, he's not super accurate, so that kind of helps him out there. But he can boost his attack rolls. He can even boost his damage rolls by using soul tokens, and the damage on this thing can be ridiculous into things like War Beasts, which have high strength values. So that was my solos. Moving on, we have the Tyrant Commander and Standard Bearer. This guy is my Pathfinder out, as well as just another speed boost, and the ability to stand up knockdown models is situationally useful. On top of that, just kind of hits hard on his own. Main unit that I'm bringing here is the Cataphract Cetrati, and I'm probably going to butcher every single name, but I think I'm saying that right. These guys are great. They're medium infantry, they're shield walls, they've got tough, they've got weapon master attacks, so they hit like trucks, and under Vorkesh they get defensive formation, sacred ward, and steady, so they become even harder to take down, and Vorkesh himself also just hits like a truck, so they're pretty good for that sort of thing. And then lastly, I brought the Beast Handlers. I just went with a min unit of these guys. Their main purpose here was to throw in Rage and Prodding. Those are kind of my 2 main abilities with these guys, and they casually have anatomical precision, so if they get the opportunity to smack something, they can do it.
Circle, turn 1. So right here, I'm going to have Cassius run up first. I just kind of want to get Wurmwood sitting in the zone pretty much the entire game. Just project his spell slinging threat. Also just a good way to cap it if I remove any models there. So right here, I'm then moving up Wurmwood with Dark Path. And now he's putting up the Rapid Growth Forest to give him and Cassius stealth, since they both have Prowl. And also making sure the 3 inches... he's covered by 3 inches through the forest, so he can't be seen. At least from some directions. I then have Lord of the Feast running into the forest, just so he can walk up and use his Raven at some point. This one is just warping Prowl. He doesn't have concealment, but nothing better to warp here, so he's just going to run up behind the house. Then I'm going to move up the Feral. He's warping speed, and he's just going to run on up. And then I'm going to move the units, running them up, towing the zone, just threatening stuff. So anything goes in, they can pretty much charge. And then this Varel is going to go do the flag.
Skorne Turn 1. Alright, so Reed obviously had the role to go first here, so my main thing was just not giving him too much, because I assumed he was going to get the alpha. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have Makeda put Quicken onto Molik Karn, and then she just kind of advances forward into the trench there. She's camping up 3, so she's relatively safe, even though she's reasonably far up the board. And now I'm just figuring out how I want to move everyone else up. I end up having Molik run over to that crate over at the top of the board there, and he just kind of chills behind it. I wanted to make sure he was safe for the first turn, so I figured there were the only things that could get into him would be like 1 or 2 infantry dudes, and it's probably not worth it. From there, I have the Titan rush itself and then charge at the Warpwolf, just to get as far up the board as possible, and that does reasonably well there. So now I have a weird order of activation thing here, but I have the standard give the unit Pathfinder so they can get through the rough terrain, and then I have them all go through. I do this weird thing where I try to have them facing weird, so that way if Lord of the Feast came in, he wouldn't be able to get back arc on more than one of them. But I end up deciding against it. It was kind of stupid, so I just leave them all facing pretty much normally. With the exception of one of the guys in the back, I have him facing backwards, so that way that's hopefully one less. And then from there, I believe the rest of it's pretty much just everything moving forward. I kept the Soulward back a little bit because I didn't want it to get picked off by Lord of the Feast. The Willbreaker goes towards the unit, and the Beast Handlers just kind of move up to be in position.
Circle, turn 1. So I'm going to end up dropping the forced upkeep on Wurmwood, because it's going to be feat turn, and I think I need the Fury this turn. So I'm going to start off with the unit. Most of them are going to just do a run, but I'm mini-feeding, and the one's going to charge, just because I don't see much of a better turn to feat here, since I think most of them are going to die. And I have the one go into the Beast Handlers, and just to clear way to the Titan Gladiator, because I plan to have the Feral charge him this turn. So right here you can see me moving him up again, and he's using the mini feat, and he's going to go to whack him, and he ends up doing no damage. So now I'm working out how I want to do these order of activations. I like deciding if I want to get the Lord of the Feast to go, if I still want to get the Feral in, because I realize I'm not going to be able to put up my debuffs the way I want it to on the Titan Gladiator. So it's probably not a good idea to engage the Feral. So right here I'm moving up Lord of the Feast. He shot his Raven, he hit, and just going into that clump of medium base. So initially he's hitting just the basic grunt. Aiming to get a corpse token here. Since I'm not boosting any of this, it'd be nice against the UA to have an additional point of strength. So I kill the grunt. Then I'm going to make an attack against the UA. I hit. And I don't end up killing here, so I end up having to buy another one, hit again, and I will remove him here. So I'm pretty happy with what Lord of Feast did there. He's gunking up the line, killed the UA, killed one other guy. About what I wanted out of him. So now moving up Cassius. I'm going for a stranglehold on Molik Karn, because I'm concerned with what he can do. So right here I'm going to buy and boost, I believe. Or sorry, I end up just buying here. See if I can hit, and maybe buy another one if I end up missing. So I hit the first one. Then I'm going to boost the damage. And I unfortunately fail to crack. So I don't land the Stranglehold. And now I'm deciding if I want to pull Cassius back or if I should just go for another Stranglehold. And I determined that I'm fine with Wurmwood not being able to move for the rest of the game, so I go for a Stranglehold, and I just unfortunately miss. But just be safe, I'm going to move up the Feral Warpwolf defensively and Warp Armor to protect Wurmwood from any charges. And the Stalker is going to move up to be useful next turn.
Skorne, turn 2. Alright, so I have a lot of choices to make here. Obviously, Reed's feet is up, so I need all the speed boosts I can get. And I realize I can double speed boost the Titan and give him Pathfinder to the point where he can walk right into the Warpwolf. So I spent a lot of time this turn figuring out exactly how that's going to work, because I wanted to make sure I didn't butcher that. For a brief amount of time, I even decided maybe I can go for Wurmwood directly, and in hindsight, maybe it would have been a good idea. But anyways, I have Makeda do some weird order of activation stuff here. So she drops Quicken on Molik, she puts Quicken onto the Titan, and then she puts Rush onto Molik and charges at Lord of the Feast in the back arc, which is what I'm rolling out here. I end up doing, I think, 7 damage to him, and I leave him at 1, so then I just kind of sidestep her back, which was a little disappointing, and then of course I pop my own feet. So I have the Choir go next here once I figure out what I'm doing. I have the Choir go, and they're just going to put Enrage on both of my beasts because I want both of my beasts to do stuff here. I was going to have the unit go and finish off Lord of the Feast, and then I realized I need the Standard Bearer to go anyways, so they go up, and I have the Bearer and the Tyrant attack Lord of the Feast, because that just makes more sense. And I believe the Tyrant just takes him right out. I think I'm just pulling up his stats here. And yeah, I believe he takes him out of the equation pretty quickly, so I don't have to have the guy in the unit do it. And then the guy in the unit, as well as the rest of the unit, get to kind of have an influence on the rest of the game. First, though, I'm having the Soulward go, because I'm going to try and snipe out the dude that's engaged my Titan there, just to avoid a free strike if I don't need to take one. So I'm going for back arc here, and I also realized partway through here that I get a soul from Lord of the Feast dying, or maybe I got it from one of my other guys. But either way, I know he has a soul on him. I forget what his generation is, whether it's on enemies dying or allies. But he does have a soul, so I'm boosting because I need something like a 12 here. Even though I'm in back arc, he's targeting melee. So I'll roll that out in a minute here, and I'm pretty sure I just miss it, unfortunately. But really, it's no big deal, just because the Soulward wasn't really doing anything else that turn. So after that, I believe I have the Titan go next, because the infantry can't get in there without blocking up his lanes, even though he's just walking. It's pretty tight on the movement, so I have him walk into the Warpwolf, and here I kind of realize it would have been nice to have something like Carnage up, because he does not hit very hard. And this is just a problem of me not really fully knowing what my stuff does, because I haven't played Skorne enough. But he starts smacking in here, and unfortunately Mat 6 means I'm boosting to hit. So I hit the first one. I end up doing something like 9 damage, which is pretty good. And then I make my second one, and I also boost that one, and I hit that one as well. I think that was the damage roll there for the first one that I just rolled. So I hit the second one, I do, I think, 5 damage this time around, and then I end up missing my next attack, and then he's done because he had to put Rush on himself, so he's pretty much out for the turn. Now Molik's going to start trying to tear through these guys behind the crate here. So he walks into the first one, and he's just going to kind of go on a tear here because he's got sidestep. Now that does only work on his initials, meaning after his initials are through, he's going to have an end to his chain. It's not like it's overtake or anything. But I believe he kills the first one here. The tough roll is failed, and now Reed's just checking to see who's in the forest for the defense boost that they get. I move forward into the next one, I hit him, and I kill him as well. And then my last sidestep, I move into what I believe is actually the unit leader or the attachment, I'm not 100% sure. And I make a smack into him. I believe I actually missed the first one, but I still have plenty of fury left, so I buy one. And then I think I actually miss again, so I have to, I know I pretty much go full stack here, and I think I end up removing it from the table. And we'll see in a second. Yeah, I do end up removing it from the table, but I'm pretty sure I fully loaded Molik Karn to do that. So now all I really have left is my unit. I have 2 of them charge into the dude that was engaging the Titan, and 1 of them charge into Cassius. The ones that go into the guy engaging the Titan, I believe they actually do succeed at killing. I think he makes the first tough roll and the second one gets him, and the one into Cassius had to run. So that's them. And I don't think I commented on it, but the free strike that was made on the Titan just did no damage. So that's pretty much it for my turn here. I believe there's nothing else that has to be moved. Oh, the Willbreaker runs closer to the flag. No, right on it. And yeah, that's the end of my turn.
Circle, turn 3. So right here, I'm in pretty good position to do a lot of work. I see that 2 of Jason's heavies are exposed. He didn't end up fate walking Molik Karn, so I can get him with the Stalker, and the Gladiator is right in front of my Feral. So I'm just working out how I want to do this, because I need to take out both heavies. They're pretty close to my caster, so I don't like them being that close. So I'm just working out how I want to clear up this mess, because I also want my Tharn Ravagers taking care of the rest of the medium bases. So I'm going to start off with Wurmwood, and he's going to shoot off a Curse of Shadows into the Gladiator, and he ends up hitting. I ended up boosting it because he was in melee with the Feral, and right here I'm going to put back up the Forest AoE to, again, protect Wurmwood. And then I'm going to have the Feral go. He's going to Warp Strength. I'm originally thinking to put him in back arc. I decided it doesn't matter because my mat is already so high that it's basically auto-hitting as long as I don't get double ones. So thinking it's irrelevant, I just leave him like that, so that way there's less stuff that could potentially get in his back arc. What I did not take account for, though, is Retaliatory Strike, which is up because of Makeda. So that's it would have been better to go into back arc there. But I hit my first one, do a good chunk of damage, close to a third of his health. And here's the Retail Strike. He ends up missing because I am defense 14, so that was pretty fortunate. Used one of my other initials, and you can just see he's just absolutely chunking him down. I'm doing a ton of damage. Third initial, same thing. He's got just a few boxes left. And I hit the last one and finish him off with some extra fury to spare. So I ended up just regenerating him a little. And I get 3 boxes healed, which is pretty nice. Now I'm deciding the Stalker should go. I'm leaving some room just in case Tharn Ravagers need to go into Molik Karn if the Stalker fails to finish him. And he'll be Warping Strength. So he misses first one, ends up hitting the second. Does pretty good damage. There's the Retail Strike, which Molik Karn also ended up missing. I missed I think I ended up hitting that one. And yep, I did a pretty good chunk of damage. Buying another one, missed. Buying another. Hit, and doing most of his health there. He's on like 2. Buying another one, hitting, and just finishing him off there. Now I'm working out what I want to do with my unit, because I do want to clear up all that stuff near Makeda. But first I'm just going to Lightning Strike my Stalker since he had 1 more Fury left. Just so he can potentially threat Makeda if she tries to do work into my infantry, because it is getting at that point of the game. So here I go with the Ravagers. I'm just going to go into the front of the unit. I think I just walk here so then I'll get set defense. I missed the first one, hit the second, and I remove it from the board. Or sorry, yeah, no, the first one missed, and then I hit the second and removed him. And then I'm just going to move Cassius out of the way.
Skorne Turn 3. Alright, so the situation's looking a little dire here. I'm completely out of my heavies. So the first thing I do is I have Skorne throw them quicken onto the unit. I just want to make sure they have as many options as possible. I don't think there was a particular thing I was trying to get with that. It was just kind of Makeda's not doing much else at the moment. Now that she's lost her beast, she's kind of starting to lose her purpose here, because like I said, she has an output, but it's really not that great, especially into bigger things like these war beasts. So I believe I end up whipping a lash over at the Stalker there, or sorry, that's the Feral. But I'm pretty sure I'll roll it out in a second here. I needed something like an 8, and I'm pretty sure I just completely miss it. And that pretty much ends Makeda's turn. So yeah, I'm rolling the dice there, and you can see the 2. I don't know what the other die was, but it wasn't enough. So I figure out what the Mortitheurge was going to do. I was going to have him influence the Warpwolf, and then we realized that I can't do that, so I have him influence one of the Tharn instead to have him attack the Warpwolf, and he succeeds to hit the Tharn then succeeds to hit the Warpwolf, and the Warpwolf takes something like 4 damage, so that works, I guess. Next, I'm going to have my favorite solo go here. The Soulward is just going to, I was going to move him there, but then I realized, oh, I can put him on the flag and I can get back arc, so I do that instead. And even with the back arc, I don't trust this, so I boost a hit. And I do believe I hit it here. I do. And then the damage is something like a POW 20, but I don't think I had anything left to boost it. I mean, we'll see in a second. No, I didn't boost it. So I end up doing 12 damage to the 5 though still, because it's crazy hard hitting gun. So next I'm having, what do I have go next? The Cetrati, I think. So I put, oh right, I was planning out what I wanted to do with the beast handlers, but now I have the Cetrati go. I put one of them into the Warpwolf, one of them into a Tharn, and the one in the Warpwolf I believe just misses, and the one into the Tharn does manage to hit here, and I'll roll that out in a second, and he does take him off the board. We'd actually succeeded the tough roll, and then we remembered that takedown is a thing. So next I'm having the Tyrant and Flag Bearer go. The Flag Bearer just kind of runs around to chill in the zone, be semi-relevant on scenario, while the Tyrant goes into the Warpwolf, and I believe he just takes him off the board. He does crazy amount of damage and completely removes him. So next I'm having the Beast Handlers go, and one of them just kind of gets in the way. The other one I put into the Warpwolf Stalker because why not? So I have him charge him, and miraculously he hits, and I roll the damage here. It's something like dice off 8 or something crazy like that, and I rolled boxcars. I didn't even remember the extra die, but I did 3 damage to him, and we later roll the extra die, and it ends up being an extra 2 damage, so 5 damage on a Stalker.
Circle, turn 4. So right here, I'm winning the attrition game for the most part, and I can see that I can win in 1 turn, and I've decided it's pretty good odds that I can just take it here. And on top of that, I'm also going to be getting attrition done, so I'm going to move up the Tharn Ravager. He's going to hit, no sorry, he misses, hit, knocks him down, but he toughs. Then I'm going to roll with the other one, and I'm going to manage to hit that one, and we're just working out damage. And I'm going to remove that one. And buying into the one the other one, and he toughs, and buying with a corpse, and I'm killing him. So I'm going to have the Stalker move up. He's moving in range of the unit, so I can just remove him with it. But his main focus is going to be taking down the objective. He's warping strength. He auto knocks down the one, and then he's going to hit the objective, kill it, move to flag, and win.
And there you guys have it. 4 up in scenario on a single turn, which is pretty huge. So well played to my opponent for noticing that. Overall, I mean, as you guys could probably tell this game, I was pretty unfamiliar with my army. I'm still very, very new to Skorne, and I enjoy playing them quite a lot, but I make a lot of mistakes when I do play them, so hopefully the more I play them, we'll kind of see that less and less, because I have a pretty sizable Skorne army. I just haven't really gotten any experience with any of them. But Makeda's super fun, Molik Karn was super fun, and all of the kind of movement shenanigans I had in this list were really, really fun to play with and kind of learn how to use. And on rewatch, I'm definitely seeing a lot of mistakes that hopefully I won't be making in the future. So no, all in all, really good game, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please do drop a like down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Channel's been doing really, really well, and it's just awesome to see the numbers always going up here. So thank you to everyone who's been sticking around thus far. Hopefully we can keep doing this because it's a lot of fun. Until next time, peace.